Do you know what I love about football? When you watch a team that is unfancy to win come out and have a plan. I think that is the thing that I love so much. What I missed from the Pirates game was watching a plan come to pass. I know that like in our football, we don't like being defensive. We don't like being pragmatic. But what TS Galaxy did today encompasses the things that I often speak about. It's not pound for pound or defensive. Those aren't your only options. Sometimes you could come out and say, okay, this is how I'm going to play Sundowns. I'm going to respect them, but also I know what I'm going to do. So on the respect side, TS Galaxy came out and said, the biggest thing that we're not going to do today is we're not going to have spaces in behind. So we're going to try and squeeze those midfielders, those attackers out wide. And we're going to play in a back five where our back three is going to stay put. And these guys are going to basically stay in shape. Then on top of that, to make sure that the back three doesn't move, we're going to put two midfielders in front of them who just, first responders. And Velase, for me, was a first responder. If there's trouble coming, you come out and meet it, and you force them to go wide. So already on that token, I think TS Galaxy did an incredible job in being disciplined and structured enough to just sit. Mamelodi Sundowns had one shot on target in the first half, only 3, all in all. So now you watch that defense sit back and hold them. And say, you know what, guys, we're not going to be stupid and go high line and let you guys run in behind. But also, when we're sitting back, we're not going to find ourselves in situations where there's a 3v4 or there's a 3v2 where we've exposed our centre backs. I'm not going to say that was classic defending by ETS Galaxy where they couldn't do anything or they were so solid. I think there was points on that game where it was tibang. But they had that. But here's the best part of that game. Zajmovic is probably one of the most underrated players in the league. Him, but De Jong, very underrated. Because he's got movement, he's got brains. And what they did in return, and what I always say is be defensive, but always have a threat. And having that back 5 and 2 meant that they had 3 players that they could push forward. And if you could see what they were trying to do is that those 2 midfielders, when they weren't defending, the guys who were back, they'd push a little bit into midfield, and they showed Sundowns that we can play ball, guys. Don't think that we can't play ball, number 1. But then isolating Johannes and having an overload on that side really helped. What have I said about Mamelodi Sundowns? If you've got a central threat who keeps the 2 busy in the middle, you can then free up 2 or 3 players. We saw it versus Golden Arrows, the first part of the Golden Arrows, with Cele being central, Sibia running on the side. We saw it versus Maniema Union with the striker central and the number 10. There was 10 they brought in at the end of the game who played on that side. So they isolated a defender, which meant that the attack had direction. And fine, you might say that Ronan Williams maybe saves that on a different day or whatever, he's struggling, all of the stuff you say. But the key thing that TS Galaxy came into this game to do, vale mova, and then up front, I need you to just seem dangerous so that Mudibat can't push up that far. Seem dangerous so that Johannes is under pressure. Seem dangerous so that the 2 in the center also have a little bit of an issue. And I think that was incredible from ETS Galaxy. When it comes to Sundowns, okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. and rehenga the green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video. You can't necessarily go too wrong with the starting lineup that they used. It is a very strong lineup. But there's something that happens to Sundowns when they're under pressure. They do this thing. We saw it last year with rulani. Fine, your first plan is working, the chameleon, or your first plan is not working, the chameleon can't break a low block. And they do this thing, and I'm seeing it under Caruso as well, where they go wide and they're trying to cross balls in. They're trying to just pummel the box with balls. And we don't have a Mendieta in the game to throw the kitchen sink in. It becomes futile because you've gone wide. You're trying to play the wide game. Nobody inside can header the ball. Shalulile maybe is your best header. Reyners, when he came in, is not going to get to that ball. So now you've minused your players from the crossing standpoint, but also the other interesting thing that Sundowns does that I don't understand is when they're under pressure and they need to go find a goal, 3-4 players stand with the defense. And when they stand with the defense, you've now minused 4 players who could probably play the ball. Because I think that to beat a low block, you don't go wide. I think to beat a low block is that you go compact and you bring the players more closer together and have them make secondary runs, have them play 1-2s and do those things to try and shift the defense out of position, then play the ball through. But if you're going to be crossing balls, what's going to happen? You're crossing them into a set defense. Now, I understand what Caruso tried to do in the second half, bringing in Masego on the left-hand side and bringing in Moreno on the left-hand side, so that at the very least, you can pull out the side defenders, pull them out, and maybe hopefully have Ribeiro, Reyners, Shalulile versus a 3 or a 4 defense that's left in the center. And then if you can pull those guys in, that's where you start seeing mokwena getting space to shoot. I get it. And there was times in that game where TS Galaxy lost their shape because when they made their subs, they brought in Puso, they brought in Toli, they brought in those guys, and the mistake where they could have been hurt was that they had pushed everyone forward. And there'd be 6 players in attack and you'd be left with 4. But the problem was that in Sundowns, for some reason in this game, they were holding the ball so long. Ribeiro would try and run all the way to the box before releasing the ball. And that gave TS Galaxy time to recover. That fast counter that Mamelodi Sundowns has been building over the past few games went away. And I think they missed that aspect of the game. So, again, I want to give TS Galaxy credit because this is what you do. Orlando Pirates tried to go pound for pound. You don't need to go pound for pound. You just need to plan better. You don't need to have a 6-man attack with your wingers and all of those people. You can do it with 3 if there's a smart play there. You know, you can stay not high line, you know, if you're high line, if you know that abo Kibi, abo Ndamane, nabo Sbande, nabo Kabini are slow. Okay, why make them run? Similar to what Pirates did with Koki and Sbisi. Why make them run? Keep them there. Put away your ego. Play the game that needs to be played. It's a small game. Beating Sundowns is a small game, a small team game, where they don't have the ego, they know they don't have the players, so they sit back. But also, this TS Galaxy team in the last 5 games have 3 wins and 2 draws. They're not pushovers. I said in the game versus Orlando Pirates when TS Galaxy played, I said TS Galaxy is a dangerous team. They play football. They play. They just never take their chances. So I like that from TS Galaxy, that even in the defensive, they played ball at times. Even when they were under pressure, they were clearing into spaces and chasing the ball in order to pull Sundowns out. They were playing, there's a ball that I love when you're playing versus Sundowns, where you put it just behind the defense and force Ronwen to keep coming out to sweep a keep. If you can make him come out 3, 4, 5 times, you might get something, or there might be a mistake. But more importantly, when you do those things, you reinforce the fact that you are a danger in Mamelodi Sundowns' mind. They have to think about Letsoalo and Zajmovic and Sibilibi. You have to think about them. You can't push everybody forward. So it creates that doubt. So very well done to TS Galaxy for this game. Mamelodi Sundowns, I think maybe there was a little bit of a hangover from the weekend. I think maybe you're going to have to start looking at your bench a lot more, or else you'll be stuck in the same fatigue situation you were stuck in last season. But again, TS Galaxy last season knocked Sundowns out of the Carling Cup and then came back to draw with them after taking a lead early. So maybe it also comes down to TS Galaxy matching up well versus Sundowns. Well done to coach Begnovic, because those are the coaches that go unnoticed in the league, even though they're doing a great job. So anyway, guys, well done to TS Galaxy. I think it was a wake-up call for Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a wake-up call for Coach Caruso going forward. And I think this loss keeps Pirates within striking range. So that's going to make the league still exciting. And we'll see how it ends up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next one.